welcome back to another episode of Partner Honesty. I'm Tiffany. Yeah.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another fabulous episode of
Pardon Our Honesty.
I'm Tiffany,
I'm Megan.
and we are deep diving today into this thing called change. It's happening everywhere around us because it's about to be spring. The grass in our area is turning green. Nature just goes about its way, doing its thing with the change. And we are like, wait, hold the hell up. I'm not changing nothing. I like my life just the way it is. Why is that?
So change is a good topic.
Yeah.
I think people are afraid of change
Mm.
because of fear or judgment.
Fear or judgment. Okay, so give us an example of a change you made. I'll give you one of mine too, that it was scary. Because I think we do a lot of things that might be considered change and scary, but I don't think we get stuck or we compliment each other by saying, girl, you better do it. I support you. I'm here with you, pushing you, saying, okay, that sounds like a great idea. Just go ahead and do it. But doing it is definitely hard. So one change that I had to do recently as she's fixing
I'm just
me.
moving it off your neck because I think it was rubbing on your neck.
Let's see, one change that I've had to make with myself that's definitely scary is confronting some of the things that I've defined as moments that have shaped my relationships with people. So there's this one significant event that happened and it made me not like a couple people in my life. And so now the change is I'm having to look at that situation and be like, okay, was it really like that? Or are you just making it into something bigger to support your habit of, I don't like this person anymore? So that change is very scary because I don't want to talk about it.
So like self-reflection.
I don't want to relive it. I don't want to discuss it. It happened. It pissed me off and I just want to hold on to it. And you're going to suffer because I'm holding on to it. So that change for me is happening now. I still don't like it, but I know it's going to make me a better person. So I'm not fighting it as much as I have in the past.
It's a good example.
Yeah, that it sucks though.
My change isn't that deep.
It's not that. That's okay. You had some big changes this year.
Yeah. So some changes are, well, we both switched companies.
Yeah.
And that was a big change because I think with that comes fear of judgment and fear of people's opinions
Yeah.
and things. But I did branch out to do my own coaching thing.
Which I'm super excited about.
Yes. And I kept putting it off because I was super afraid of judgment, people's opinions, and like, what if it doesn't work? What if people say this or do that? And what if people judge this or judge that? And I think it was you who said, just rip the Band-Aid off and do it. Because I kept wanting to push another month and you said, just rip the Band-Aid off and do it. And it has been very successful.
Nice.
So I'm excited about that.
That was my birthday present, y'all.
Oh yeah, she went to Rio.
No, that was my birthday present from you, that you would get it going and make it work. And we're going to just rip the Band-Aid. I leave Bubba alone. Bubba is not doing nothing to nobody.
If you notice, we're in a different setting today.
Hey, girl.
And we're at my house. And I just recently adopted a dog. That's a change.
It is.
I am not a dog person.
What?
And I adopted a dog.
Why the hell you did that?
It was so cute.
I'm judging you with my judgy eyes.
Everybody was judging me like, what the hell? You don't like dogs? And my life is busy, but she was so sweet. And I watched her for a weekend and then I took her back and then I made Madison go back and get her because then I felt bad.
You made Maddie go get her.
So now I have a dog. So that's a change. So I think when people say you cannot change, I don't believe that.
No, I don't believe that either.
I think it's your mindset.
Absolutely.
Because like I was in a meeting a couple weeks ago and somebody said, people are who they are, they don't change. And I was like, I don't really agree with that because I feel like we all change a little bit. Like if I curse a lot, but I'm in certain settings, I'm not going to do that.
Yes.
That's a change.
Yes.
I don't like dogs, never liked dogs. Now I like a dog.
Yeah.
And I have a dog. And I'm one of those dog people who tell dog stories. So now, you know what I'm saying? Like change.
Yeah.
But I think the hardest change is like you were saying you experience is the changes in ourselves where we have to be like self-accountable and the things that we were so angry about or so judgy about, we now kind of, I guess, have to say fall on the sword.
Yeah. and recognize that, okay, is this behavior that I'm doing, or is this change that I'm making going to be beneficial to me in the long run?
And those around you.
Yes. And so Ed and I had a conversation this morning about how, one, we can tell people all day long, hey, I think this would be good for you. Like I said to you, Megan, you're an excellent coach. You're an excellent mentor. Anybody that has the opportunity to learn from you, this sales side, and it's not even just sales in our profession, just sales in general, will benefit and see a difference in their business if they follow your plan. Now, I know for me, I'm just a big champion of, if you want to do something, I'm going to be right there every minute supporting you, saying, go girl, go girl, go girl, because I think that's something I always wished I had in my life. But that was scary for you because it's like, oh shit, well, what if these people don't like me? What if it's you, Tiffany, because you're my friend and you love me? You love this program, but everybody else thinks it's bullshit and it falls apart.
Confidence in yourself.
Yes.
Because
In
I
your
was lacking
ability.
confidence. So you can build me up all you want.
Yeah.
But if I have that fear versus excitement,
Yeah.
or I feel lack of confidence versus confidence, it's really harder to go out and take that step, you know?
Mhm.
And I think that happens with people in job changes, relationship
Yeah.
changes. People who want to change how they dress
Yes.
are afraid they're going to get judged.
Yes.
So, I mean, and does that come from, lack of confidence or just lack of being able to deal with people's judgment? We were talking the other day, we're just going to get all over the place. And there's a friend of ours who's on TikTok and she's doing very well on TikTok. And I was like, man, that's amazing. And then she was like, well, so and so you could do that, or your daughter could do that. And I was like, it takes a certain confidence, because I would post something on there and if people were judgy or made mean comments, it would set me back.
Yeah. But even with our podcast, right? So we had someone that was helping us to make it beautiful, gorgeous, pretty.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of our audience has noticed, why do they sound echoey? Why is the video quality crap?
We forgot
What
the microphone.
like what is going on with them?
Yeah.
But for me, it's like, okay, yes, this sucks. We're gonna have to learn how to do it ourselves.
Mhm.
It is a big change, but we're just going to put it out there. And if people love it, great. If they hate it, that's okay too.
Yeah.
We're going to grow through this. And I think people don't have that ability to allow themselves to be vulnerable, to be judged, or to have the fear, but do it anyway.
Well, I heard a quote yesterday on the radio when I was driving home, and the quote is, something like this. I'm not afraid of failure. I fear having successes in things that don't matter to me. And I went and looked up the quote and I was like, wow, that's like profound. It was from some missionary dude from back in the day or whatever. And it was very eye opening because, like, are we doing things just
Leave Daddy alone. Leave Daddy alone.
Oh God, yo, this is called grassroots right here, right? Like, but it's true. What do we stay in jobs, relationships to make everybody else happy and have this what we call a success? But for us, it wasn't a success, and we haven't fulfilled the things we wanted to do. So it's very profound to me because I'm like, sure, I have successes. Like, I was at a company for 9 years. It's great. Was I fulfilled there? No. Was I treated like I was fulfilled there? No. But I kept staying for the benefit of everybody else. You know what I mean? So it was very scary to make a change. And I think that happens in relationships, jobs, appearance.
Yes.
You don't want to push kids who struggle to tell their parents things because they don't want to push the status quo of making everybody else feel successful.
So how do you start making change? Okay, my goal every year is always to sell 50 houses. Most people would be like, that's crazy as hell. You're going to be working yourself to death. But that's always my goal. So if last year, say that goal was just 20 and I'm making this change to, I'm going to sell 50, why should I be afraid that I might not make it? So what if I don't make it? But I tried.
Right. And they say when you have a goal like that, you should tell others, because the more you verbalize your goals, the more likely you're going to work to achieve it. 'Cause you don't want that fear of like failure, and people can support you. But I think in your knowing you personally, I feel like you will feel like you are a failure if you don't get it. So you say, who cares if I don't make it? Nobody cares, but you do. So, and then what do you do to change your habits though? So like you just make a goal.
I made a goal.
Like for me, even if I said lose weight. So I lose weight, which I don't care anymore, but let's just say, and you are 50 houses, right? We
Yeah.
can say that
Yeah.
we want to make this change, but then what are you doing to actually get to it?
I'm doing all the things that Megan has forced me to do. Do y'all see my eyes? With reaching out to.
But do you really feel that you've changed every habit in your life to accommodate the growth that you're wanting? And I think that's where we
No.
get hung up. I think on change, sometimes we're afraid to do the things that are required for that
Yeah.
change. So we just stay where we're at because, wow, that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Or especially for those of us that are like ADD, ADHD, it's overwhelming. You don't know where to start. So you just don't start. And I think that's the hang up. That and fear of rejection and judgment. So I think getting there, how do you get there? And then dealing with, say you get there and then you get negative from people. Oh, you just want to be this, or you just want to be that, or you're not being authentically you, or you're not. So, what if you start getting negative? Is that going to deter you from wanting to reach that goal?
I don't know. So for me, all of my life has been constant change. So I feel like constant change is always something I'm dealing with. In the military, we're constantly moving. You're moving jobs, you have new bosses. So I think it's kind of a little bit normalized for me. But I do find that if I say I'm going to do this thing, no matter what it is, I'm going to put in 110%. And it's probably going to affect other things in my life that because I have this goal and I gotta make it because if I don't, the crazy mindset Tiffany has is if you don't make it, then you're a screw up and you're a failure and everybody sees you as this person that can't get themselves together to do the things that they say they're gonna do, then that's negative for me because it isolates people. It puts me in a hyper focus. This is the only thing I can focus on right now because this is the most important thing because I've said I'm going to make this
Right,
change.
right. And but really that comes from you fearing other people's judgment.
Yeah, judgment. I don't like that.
So I think the fear and the judgment is really I really envy people who go out there and just do stuff and they don't care what people think. Now, maybe they do deep down, but the ones that outwardly appear to not care, that always amazes me because I'm like, they're either very confident and that's instilled in them, or they realize, hey, if I do it, I do it. If I don't, I don't, but it's all on them. Instead of like worrying about, like you just said, if I don't get it, you're worried about all this outside noise.
But it's really not the outside noise. It's all in my head.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah.
It is all in
It's
my head.
an internal pressure that you're
Yes.
assuming. You know, when people say, "Don't put your shit on me," don't put your stuff on me. But
You
when
too
you
bad.
say, "Don't put your stuff on me," that's true. Like you have all these thoughts that all these people are going to think about you a certain way, and nobody's doing that
No.
but
They
you.
think I'm fabulous and like I have people say, "Oh, people give you such great remarks and oh, you're so sweet and you're this." And I'm like, "Well, shoot, I think I just screwed that up yesterday and I didn't really mean to, but nobody else saw that except me."
Right. Nobody's, I mean, that's why I think we're our own worst critic. And so if we're judging ourselves that hard already, we're afraid that if we put it out in the world, everybody else is going to judge us even harder. So I think that fear and judgment is the biggest. I think you have to replace like fear with excitement. Like Madison had to do a presentation the other day. She was literally physically sick over it in front of her peers in college. And I was like, girl, just go in there and rock it. You know what you're doing. Take some deep breaths. But like without that excitement or confidence, you are immediately going to go to fear
So we gotta fake it
until you make it.
okay.
Especially if it's something you really want, because why do we hesitate on what we want because we're worried about other people? Obviously, you can't put your family in jeopardy and say you're going to go gamble off all your. I mean, obviously, we're talking within reason here.
Yeah.
But why would, if I want to go and, lose 20 pounds, why do I care if other people's opinions of that? If it only affects me and it's about me, or you want to sell 50 houses, as long as you're not at the detriment of your family doing that, why should those opinions matter if they don't pay your bills, if they don't, like, we let so many outside factors, especially with social media, affect us, and those people.
They don't give two shits about us. They looking at us because we're only showing the highlight reel.
Right.
We are only showing the highlight reel to the world. So, like you're saying, why is it leave them alone? They just playing.
I don't know if you can hear them because we have noise cancellation microphones that we actually remember to turn on today, but The dog is
They're
chasing
so
the cat. The
cute.
cat's crying at the dog, and
Love them. They are so cute.
it will get better next time.
It will.
This is inter.
That is too funny. So the highlight reel is what we show the world.
Oh my god, I can't. That is like
I'm gonna be
like,
in the podcast too. Stop playing.
it's like if you ever want to do a podcast and thought you couldn't do it,
We could damn do it. Did you know we number 24?
what?
We are number 20, ranked 24. I said, ooh, look at us, y'all. And we is a whole hot ass man. But
We are,
we
man.
number 24.
That's awesome.
I thought it was too.
Y'all need to go share it.
Yeah. Please share, like,
Going.
but yeah, the highlight reel of change, we don't definitely show that. And I think, like you're saying, if you agree that I want to make this specific change for my life because it's going to make me better, who cares what other people think? Sure, you might have those times where you're like, I put this on social media. I told my best friend and they looked at me crazy like, what the hell? But if it's for you, you just have to take the constructive criticism. You get to choose how you accept it, take it in. If it's good criticism, sure, adjust. If it's not, still, it's your life.
Yeah,
Keep
you can
going.
have constructive criticism for sure. Like, oh, that was great, but you could do this a little better. Like, I mean, honestly, somebody quite lovely reached out to us last week and was like, well, your podcast sounds a little echoey. I have microphones. And we were like,
Mhm.
we have microphones. We just forget to turn.
And it was free, but I love that.
But
Okay.
I love that they care enough about
Yeah.
us.
Yep. To say, hey guys, I want y'all to be successful. And I think as you venture into this whole chain,
I'm changing this. Yeah. Okay.
as you venture into this change, you might be surprised to who will come alongside you and support you and help you achieve your goal. And it's not always going to be negative.
And I don't think change means you change, like, okay, I'll give an example. We changed companies. There was a group of us, not all on purpose, just kind of worked out that way. But, just because we change companies doesn't mean you have to change your relationships with people. It doesn't mean you have to change anything. It's just one part of your life. And I feel like sometimes people respond to change in like, oh, you're different, or oh, I can't associate, or oh, I can't. And I don't think that's fair either. And I think some people fear that. I feared switching companies. What friends would I lose, or what, people would I lose? And I feel like that's such a sad world we live in, that just because I choose to do something better for myself, that you could lose people because of that. Like, why? That doesn't make sense. And I'm sure that that holds some people back in changes that they're making, because they're like, who am I going to lose if I do this? Who am I going to change? You know, areas or houses or people, like how's that going to affect me? I think another thing too with change, this might be a little controversial, or not controversial, but okay, so like people who use weight loss medicine, right, to lose weight. Part of me, as I'm like, yeah, that's awesome, but then I'm like, why when you ask people sometimes do they don't want to admit to their change. Like they don't say, I'm using medicine. Oh, I work out every day, 3 times a week, and I run and I eat fruit and I do this. And you're thinking, okay, I could do that. When in reality, that's not what they did. So like, I don't understand sometimes when people make a change, and
For their
that's just an
benefit.
example,
Yeah.
why they're not completely transparent on why about the change. I
Yes,
think that
there's
comes with
still
judgment too.
still judgment, because I
Yeah.
have a very close family member that as I look at her now, I'm like, please do not lose another pound. I don't know what you're doing to yourself, but please stop. According to them, they just changed their diet, but other people are saying they used help. And I think if you're going to use help, use help. That's
Yeah.
fine. I don't necessarily need to know that you're using help, but hopefully you've done your research and know, okay, whatever I'm using is not going to have any negative side effects. But I'm happy that she lost the weight.
Right.
She's very much healthier now.
I know too. And people get their life back almost, it seems.
Yes. Yeah. I was very surprised that the goal for her was to get off her diabetes medicine, but just because she lost, and I mean, like, she lost 140 pounds, I think. It didn't change her diabetes. I was very surprised about that. But
so I think with change, you also have that effect of why, do we want to tell people why we made the change? And a lot of people maybe they don't want to. It makes us uncomfortable, or like, why did you switch jobs or why did you switch this? And people might not want to say why.
And so
So
I
then
think,
they're in their head, if I make this change, people are going to ask me
mhm,
questions. How am I going to answer those
mhm,
questions? And then the other people are going to be judging me for those changes. So how do I deal with that? So I feel like the fear of change is literally that. It's just fear of having to deal with all the things that come from change.
yeah, because I think even with the family member that I just mentioned, every time I see her, I probably say like, "Please don't lose another pound," and I probably should stop doing that because it's probably making her self-conscious.
Right.
But it's such a stark difference for me. It's like, oh my god, and I don't mean it in a negative way.
Right.
It's just like
Well, then
I
you worry about her
never
health.
seen her
And
like that.
yeah.
But
But I think again, like our episode we talked about a couple weeks ago is like the hard truths. I think if you've not listened to it, you should go listen to it.
yeah,
But, I think it comes from what your relationship is with that person. So if you're doing something like that, I may be like, okay, great, you lost weight, you're doing great. But I feel worried for your health. You don't have any muscle, or you don't this, or you are tired if we just go on a walk, or like, or same with like if you switched your job, that's great. You switched your job, but it looks like you've become distant or you know what I mean? I think it depends on who it comes from if you're going to value the feedback or
yeah,
not.
that's true. Change, I feel like it's inevitable though. I
I
think
think you have to change.
you have to change, you have to grow. The 30-year-old that I was is not the same as the
No.
50-year-old Tiffany that I am today. I would venture to say, hopefully I'm better, a little crazier, but better. But even as a woman, I'm changing in my body because I'm getting older, not childbearing
Right.
age anymore. So how do you become comfortable with, I'm making this decision to make this change? Yes, I know people may have their own opinions, but I'm going to keep moving forward because this is a goal that I have.
I think it's your confidence and your circle.
I agree with your circle.
Because if I've got people building me up and encouraging me on top of my own confidence, I'm going to feel very secure in moving forward. But if I have everybody shutting me down and then I'm still doubting myself, I'll probably never make the change.
You'll quit.
I'll quit or I just won't even start because I'm too afraid of failure at that point because everybody's telling me it's going to fail. So I think that's a genuine concern a lot of people have. And I don't know. I think you have to change like who I am now, like you said. I used to think my mother was crazy in a lot of stuff, and now I hear myself saying the same damn stuff. And, I used to have this opinion. I've evolved and learned and had life experiences that have changed that opinion. I have witnessed things happen to people, change my opinion. I've been in different areas of, we travel and you
Mhm.
see, you have to evolve and change. And I think sometimes with change, people are afraid they're going to lose it's a okay, say you go to 50 transactions a year. Maybe I'm not, just as an example. Maybe I'm afraid you're going to have a different friend group then because you're selling so much more than me and we're not going to be friends and it's going to change our dynamic. So I'm just going to put you down, tell you not to do it. It's too much and put these negative things. Or if your spouse wants to lose a bunch of weight, you get insecure. Gosh, if they go lose all this weight, they're going to be really attractive. And that, and then the person involved with the change doesn't want the change
Yeah.
because it's going to change them too. And if you're both not willing to evolve, what
How do you handle
happens?
that? How do you handle,
I don't know.
I'm trying to have this goal, but every time I'm around you because you have insecurities, then you're putting me down and saying, "Why do you want to do that anyway? I don't know if you really cut out for that. Are you sure you want to do that?" How are you as an individual combating that and being confident? I think for me, I would just be like, "Well, you don't know me
Well, that's
like
not
you
fair.
think you know me, and I'm just gonna keep doing it."
See, now I feel like that's like aggressive.
Yes, because I'm aggressive.
I feel like who's saying it and then have a rational conversation? Is it your fear that's making you say these things? And why are you saying it in that way? Like the other day, I was at lunch and Pam had asked me a question and I flat out said, no, that's not going to happen. And she was like, we need to work on your delivery. I was like,
Yes, you need to work on your delivery.
so maybe it's the delivery. So, like, if that's a person you care about and they're putting down this thing you want to do or change, I think it's easy to say, are you speaking out of fear? Are you speaking out of, I feel like you're saying it in a way that is attacking. And they might,
Oh, darn well, nobody's gonna say, "Are you saying that out of fear because you're afraid
but maybe we
I
have
lose
to
you
talk
a
about that.
friend?"
But maybe we have to. Why are we not? Because
Mhm.
we're afraid people won't like how we say it.
No, we're afraid that our dynamic, our relationship is gonna change because I have this great, fabulous idea that I wanna pursue. I'm going to be on The View one day. Are you sad that I want to be on The View? I want to be on The View with you, but if that dream is too big for you, I don't want you to squash it down just because I'm dreaming big.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
I'm with but I don't The View.
But I don't think squashing down is, you're right. They shouldn't squash it down, but they might be out of fear too.
That I'm saying myself.
I really want to go on the Ellen show, but she's off the air now.
Yeah, that would be super cool.
And then the Steve Harvey show, but he's not really doing. I don't think he does live stuff anymore, does he? He would be fun to talk
he
to.
would be fun. You know what I'm going to do?
Is the View the one with all those old ladies that judge everything?
Is on. We judge people too. Shit, we end up judging.
I don't really care for the View.
Okay,
but I support you.
Yes, I might.
Here's why. I will support your dream, and I would totally work every way we have to get on there.
Yes, that's
but
my dream.
But
see, that's the difference.
There for you.
That's the difference between having a big dream. Yes, it may sound crazy. No, you're not that interested in it, but because you support and love me, we talked about this a little bit earlier. Your circle, you got to make sure that circle is people that can give you constructive criticism and say, baby, The View is probably going to be a little bit hard for us to get on, but we can do it.
We can do
it, but don't miss out on the challenges that may come along with that, but we can do it.
But think about all the people who have done some crazy crap and end up exactly where they want. Because they just go after it. They just say, F it, let's go after it. Let me tag all these people. Let me go out here and walk across the country and get all these people to advertise. Like, I think the only person who holds ourselves back from change is us. Yeah.
It's you.
You hold yourself back from change because you put all these things. This is impossible. It's going to cost too much. People are going to judge me. What are people going to say? What if it doesn't work out? What if it's a bad idea?
What do I have to let go in order to get?
Yeah.
What are the changes or strategies that I got to implement every day, every single day in order to make this work?
Do you think that every person watching right now has a change that they've thought about wanting to make and haven't done it simply because of fear or what people will think?
Absolutely.
I think so too.
Absolutely. Whether it's I want to go back to school, I want to change my job, I'm not happy in this relationship, we need to make some changes. Yes. I want to lose weight. I want to get in shape. Right now, I'm sure springtime, everybody's going to want I want my beach body.
Yeah.
How many of us going to go to the gym committedly 3 to 4 times a week so we can have the beach body and not eat the junk?
I mean, you do that.
No, I don't.
You don't eat junk and you go to the gym like 3 times.
But you know what I learned on my vacation? Most people don't give a darn what you look like. They're worried about themselves. I walked past so many people that
she went to the carnival in Rio.
There was small, medium, large, extra large, triple large, and they were very happy and the minimalist thing that they could wear on the beach and could give 2 shits what I thought about their outfit.
Because you don't affect them. I mean, who are you? You're just some lady on vacation.
I mean, and they were happy. To me, it made me feel like, why can't I have that confidence that no matter what I wear, I'm okay. And yes, some people might say, she looks great. Like you told me, the outfit I wore.
Great.
Girl, you look great. But in my mind, I'm like, oh, my little fat hanging out on the side. Jesus, my stomach holding in real tight. My boobs about to fall out the shirt.
We are our own worst critics. I think we've talked about that in like 10 episodes. Seriously.
Yes,
we are our own worst critics. Our brain, we're thinking all these people think this. And I think literally everybody thought you had like the outfit of the year. But in your head, you were all these other things. And I think
I don't know what they're doing. You watching them, not me.
Change is hard. I didn't have a dog before. Now change is hard.
Dottie living her best life. I love that for her.
Oh my God.
Dottie is living her best life.
So our advice to you. Oh God.
Don't be afraid of change.
Listen, everybody judged me about getting this dog. And
we did.
It's pretty right. They were pretty right. I have a very crazy schedule. I am not an animal lover, but no. But I really do like this dog, but it has been a very big eye opener.
Don't forget that change is hard. What I recommend if you're going to make a change in your life is write it out. I'm a big proponent of writing it out. okay, if I'm making this change, these are the habits that I got to stick to on a daily basis in order to make it happen. You also need to write out the cons. Okay, I'm making this change. These are the great, wonderful things that can happen. These are the cons. Be prepared for people to have an opinion. Everybody has one, just like they have a butt. Everybody has an opinion. Does their opinion mean
it's right, or we have to take theirs? Yeah.
Take it, or this is like really what's going to happen? Because I'm telling you, when I was a kid, my mother would tell me some crazy things like, you know, that's going to turn out bad. Sometimes it did, but a lot of times it did not. It was just fine. So yes, they may have an opinion. They may give it to you. It's okay. Take it with a grain of salt and keep moving on. Read some books that support what you're trying to do. You got plenty of podcasts and YouTube and TikTok University.
Have a good
that
circle.
Can teach you, and have a good circle.
Have a good circle
that supports you.
Keeps
and
you
loves
grounded, but supports you and loves you, and no matter what your change is.
Yep. They'll tell you the shit. Be like, Tiffany, you're a horrible communicator. But baby, I got you.
Sounds like you're talking from
Baby, I got you. Because it's successful. Everything that we do with that organization is absolutely successful. And as you and I have been great friends and you support this effort, you've told me, hey, make this change. Each year it gets better and better.
Yeah.
Each year. So, I mean, I support change. I think with life, you will always have change no matter what, just like the seasons come and go. It's just how are you prepared?
Real quick before we end, I know I just cut you off. Why did you want to do this subject? What was, because you came up with this last week and wanted to talk about it. So what was something that was initially in your brain of why you wanted to choose this subject?
I think it's just because with me in being seriously in therapy right now, I am noticing that things that I thought were defining moments, and I'm having to change that pattern and that thought process, that I'm not the only one dealing with how hard it is to accept yourself and to make changes that are going to be beneficial to you in the long run. And also hear other people say, okay, Tiffany, yes, you had a terrible life, but look at all the changes you've made. Look at all the strides that you've made. And if I can be open to change, then everybody should be open to change. And your life can be amazing if you are open and can accept that it's not all shit.
Right.
Good things can come about as long as you're willing to make the correction.
And I think everybody has the opportunity to make changes.
Yeah.
And we can't be responsible for the people who don't want to make changes or aren't open to hearing changes or recognize a change needs to be made in their life. We can't control that. You can only control you. Yeah.
So I'm just like excited for all the changes that we're seeing. I'm excited for the changes and the success that you're going through. And for me, I just want to encourage people to do you. It doesn't matter what
you might want to be up to somebody else's status, but you are replaceable to, you need to do what works for you, what makes you happy, and be confident in that. And change is scary, but all great things are on the opposite side of that.
Absolutely.
So it's scary when you get there and then you jump through and you're like, what?
Because I think, even as I think about my childhood, I would have never imagined Tiffany doing a podcast, but I always dream big. And I think dreaming big is the beginning of change for anybody. As long as you can dream it, it may be scary, but doesn't mean you can't do it.
Yeah, I agree.
So I'm just excited. Hopefully you guys will embrace change this year. It's April now, and everybody made New Year's resolutions that they might have fell off the wagon a little bit, but you can always make the decision to change and start over.
Absolutely.
It's never too late. So guys, if this podcast or this episode has brought you some new ideas, new thoughts, new things to think about, please share it, like it, and subscribe. And send us an email. We do have email. I'll put it below in the link. If you want us to cover a topic that is taboo and nobody wants to talk about it in your family, Megan and I will.
We will talk about it.
Amen. So until next time, bye guys.